It's been 4 weeks since our last review of Rick and Morty. We want to wait till the season's over because this is not the episode. This is the review of the episode. We're talking about an old man with a seat. Do you have toilet disorder where you can't poop in places where you don't feel comfortable? Well, let me tell you, Rick does. He's going to talk to Ron Howard about something. Let's get back to it right now.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz.
This is the after show for Rick and Morty Season 4, Episode 2, The Old Man in the Sea. We're going to speed run it. We got 10 minutes to break down this show just for you. We're talking about the app plot. We're talking about the toilet seat plot. We're talking about Rick's sanctuary, finding the culprit, Tony, the nicest guy who's dead now. And, of course, we are two people who, by definition and in a lineup, would look exactly the same. We're white. We have beards. We wear glasses. We have headphones. And we're wearing black jackets.
But I have black hair. I have black hair, and he has blonde hair.
I have to give you some credit, Vito. You have black hair.
I do have black hair, thank you.
My co-host with black hair, Vito Scuddy.
Thank you, everybody. Welcome to the Rick and Morty Speedrun After Show.
And I am Stephen Lemieux, and we're going to be breaking down this episode again. This is not the show itself, where we have 176,000 views on the last one of people who hate our living guts.
That's okay. Cheers to you.
Cheers to you. We get it all the time on South Park. Apparently, adult animation shows are what people try to find on YouTube the most, even though they're all available for free on SouthParkStudios.com and AdultSwim.com for both of those shows.
Absolutely. Rick and Morty is also available on SouthPark.com. That is not true. That is false.
That is false.
False information.
You are a liar.
It is available on Adult Swim.
So, Vito, have you ever walked into the bathroom and had your toilet seat be warm?
Yes, and I actually just did that earlier today, and it was terrible.
It's not fun.
No, it was the worst.
It's absolutely not fun. You know what you need?
What do we need?
You need your own sanctuary on your own planet with your own completely synthetic world, it seems, that he built himself on some level.
I would absolutely love my own planet to take poops on. That would be the key to me having a peaceful life.
You see, you're going to be upset here in a second, Vito.
Why?
Because the one thing that I'm going to renovate our bathroom at the house that you don't share with me, because you're not in the front of the house, is I'm going to put a VR headset in the bathroom.
Interesting. I need that also in my life so I can look at that. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody already developed Rick's world in a VR space.
We should do a little MTV Cribs episode where we bring you into our bathroom and show you my VR headset.
That should actually, guys, I'm going to trademark this right now for AfterBuzz TV. We're going to make the first bathroom simulator VR. We're going to do it. We're making that.
The slogan is, where do you shit?
Yeah, where do you shit? Wherever you want.
AfterBuzz TV bathroom VR.
Yeah.
Where do you shit?
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about it. We have Taika Waititi making an appearance as Gluty.
Love my boy.
Would you like to develop an app?
I would like to develop an app.
Do not develop this guy's app. There's been tons of great memes from this. Obviously, the pictures of Mark Zuckerberg with "Do not develop my app" tattooed on his forehead have been phenomenal. Obviously, you're seeing a lot of these. Vito, You didn't probably catch the first wave of Tinder when it first came out, but Tinder, Hot or Not, and all these different apps came out right after one another, and they changed the dating landscape as we know it.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, I really like the way that they're developing Jerry in all of these episodes so far, and all of the episodes in the future that we haven't watched yet, that we're not talking about yet. He's just kind of the idiot that does whatever Rick tells him not to do.
Exactly.
And it makes him an entertaining character. I'm glad. It's better than an arc.
It seems like Jerry's focal point this season, and we can just say we've seen all the episodes so far.
Yeah.
Jerry's focal point this season is that he is going to prove himself.
Yeah.
He has been welcomed back into the family as the masculine father figure, but even if the family welcomes him back and they just say, yeah, we're just going to do a complete recall, like we're just going to retcon it back to where we were, even if everyone else has just accepted that he is now the father figure in this family, he himself has not. And that's been a really interesting character take for him because he's constantly trying to prove himself.
And everybody just knows how they feel about him going into everything. They're just like, yeah, he's going to take on that role, but nobody cares. Like, I feel like they didn't necessarily retcon everything that they did with him in the last season, but they definitely put him back in the place of like, look, Jerry's just going to be an idiot, and then we're going to all have to deal with that, and we already expect that. They don't want to have any further expectations of him in that.
Yeah, he's pretty Jerry. And I love that people put Jerry and Summer next to each other, and literally it's just a ponytail is the difference.
Yeah.
The characters are the same except for the ponytail. But we get Gluty. Gluty wants to develop an app. And what kind of app is it, Vito?
It's a dating app, but kind of not a dating app, but definitely a dating app. It's basically Tinder, but if Tinder was drugs and they actually implanted drugs into you.
Well, let me be honest. Your answer is wrong. The answer is it's an app you'd like to develop.
It's an app you'd like to develop.
So Jerry obviously goes 50-50 final offer, and they develop an app, and they have their little champagne ceremony, which Morty is not too happy about.
Yeah, I can imagine me developing an app looking a lot like that.
To be fair, though, Jerry is all of us. Because let me tell you, if there was an alien that was like, yo,
you wanted to develop an app?
Do you want to develop an app? Like,
I probably would.
Right?
But there's a lot of factors in there that would give me ifs, but yeah, I probably would.
Yeah, you'd probably want to.
Yeah.
It's called Love Finders with 2 R's and 2 Z's because that is Jerry's great brainchild.
It's the best name.
And we move on to Summer and Beth, obviously being some of the first adopters to Summer of the app, where she immediately meets with a guy who goes to Fish concerts 3 times a year, which is her exact type. How did it know?
I really like how they looked at Summer and Beth's relationship in this so far, because it's kind of like that same daughter-mother, like they're there for each other, but they also hate each other in a way kind of vibe that we've gotten from other seasons. And I think it developed really well. Beth just cares about Summer, and Summer just wants to do what she wants to do.
It's also ironic because Beth, her entire life was on track to be a surgeon. She's got one of the most intelligent dads in the universe.
I almost forgot about that.
And
oh my God.
she left to do Jerry for love.
Yeah.
And now Summer is doing stupid things for love too, and that's why it's so interesting that Beth is the one chasing her down, basically telling her not to.
She's like, don't be me! Don't be me! Don't marry Jerry!
You end up just doing surgery on horses.
Yeah. And having a really smart father. Well, not in her case.
So very quickly we learn the app that has pretty bad side effects where women and wives and men leave their children on tables to go find love with the person they're matched with.
Yeah, it actually hit pretty close to home because I have found myself kind of in the dating app area where it's like, oh my God, it's just like, oh, am I interested in this person? Ah, that falls off. Oh, I'm interested in this person. Ah, that falls off. So it kind of hit home for me. I don't know how you felt about it.
It's rough. It's like a menu that you're ordering off
Absolutely.
of, and you're always like, well, I could probably go to another restaurant and get something better. And you never really look at people for their value. You look at people for their intrinsic, like, initial value, and then kind of get sick of them easier because
Absolutely.
Let me tell you, in the olden ages you had marriage.
What?
And then you died.
I don't know what that is.
And having not marriage after you've had marriage was not an option. You get that person, you're with them.
I actually did see something on the internet that I was browsing the other day that was talking about like how nobody will ever mark off all of your check marks, but that's not the point. Not to get too like emotionally captive on this, but I think it's really interesting because like regardless of it being kind of an over-exaggeration of modern society when it comes to dating apps and everything, I think it really did hit on a few points that like we don't have the attention span to be able to date in any proper way or be able to understand anybody unless we actually give them the time to, and we never are patient enough to be able to get the time to. So, I don't know, it leaves us kind of in this intrinsic circle.
Unless you're a Monogatron, who's played by Sam Neill.
Love Sam Neill.
Shout out to Sam Neill playing the voice of the lead Monogatron, whose wife is actually Sherry Shepherd who played the judge in the previous episode.
Oh my God, I didn't even realize.
So that was kind of cool.
Hilarious.
And they basically, they're providing love, but what they really want is some goddamn water.
Yeah.
You know what isn't so excessive in the universe?
Water. And your planet has a ton of it.
I love that he's just got the tubes jabbed into him for no reason other than the initial like.
I would do that as an evil villain. If I were to be able to become a villain, I would be like, just give me the works. Give me giant wings. Give me pipes that just go into me. I would do that.
It wasn't a Morton Joe thing, you know. You just got to have the tubes going out of places.
Yeah,
you know,
just get that and the water. I guess. Oh my God, a Morton Joe. That was
Morton Joe. So the Monogatrons, obviously, they love each other, but then they hate each other. They're a little syrupy of a relationship. But then we realize their relationships are just like ours, where high highs and low lows.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we have our toilet seat plot where we find Rick's sanctuary, where anytime he wants to talk about Ron Howard, it means he's going to go poop. Well, fuck you, Summer, for outing Rick for that. But we learn that from a broken stick, somebody else had used the toilet and dropped a huge deuce down Rick's sanctuary.
You and I had talked a little bit about the technology that was presented in this kind of episode, and I've loved the technology presented so far, especially the like simulator, the situational simulator that he had to kind of find that out. I thought that was really interesting because he was like, okay, it wasn't an animal, it wasn't like the stick falling, this was something different.
Yeah.
This is something I don't know that I wasn't tracked, so it's somebody else's poop.
This was an outside influence pooping my toilet. Well, guess what? It was Tony, who's played by Jeffrey Wright, which is amazing. Bernard from Westworld. You've seen him in a lot. And he is just kind of this devil-may-cry attitude on life where Rick gives him the butt bomb. And I loved the scene where he's like, well, you know, my wife's leaving me and blah, 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 blah. And then Rick pulls him out of another dimension where his wife isn't leading him and he still is using the toilet.
Or his wife is dead.
Or where his wife is...
His wife was dead. His wife died. He lost meaning. And then he brought
pulled him out of the situation where his wife was still alive and he was still using the toilet.
Yep.
And then we get the buff bomb that just... farts everywhere.
Yeah, but it did present something that I thought was really interesting later on, which was the globofin, which, like, oh my God. I mean, Matrix, obviously, like, this dives into a bunch of ideas that have already been hashed, but it made my brain go like, whoa, What?
It is interesting that we have Rick trying to make friends with the least likely of people. This guy didn't. This guy was saying that he wanted to be Rick's friend, and Rick wasn't about it. Noob wasn't even trying, and Rick put on an entire performance for him.
Yeah.
Thanks, Noob. And this guy, obviously, he basically tells Rick, like, no, you're just lonely. You need a friend. And then Rick sits on him in his gigantic animatronic Rick and sends him into his globofin coma of heaven. Which, if you had the option, Vito, would you love to just like live out the rest of your days in a globofin coma?
If my body was taken care of, yes, 100%. I would do that.
Just like, here's your heaven.
Yeah.
Have it.
Look, I'm all for the Matrix. Put me in it. I don't want everybody else to be in it, but me.
Well, you're already in it. We're all in it with you. Woo! The real question is, who are the NPCs? Well, Tony's Rick's friend. Rick lets him out after he ends up almost strangling himself because his dead wife was in there.
I think it was
an
accident.
Let's poo.
Yeah, I was trying to decide whether it was on purpose or an accident from that scene, and I couldn't. I don't really know. I think he accidentally spun around and got himself hung by the wires, but could have been that he realized. I don't know. Maybe he was trying to get himself out of the poop matrix.
I'm not sure. I'll be honest, though. It was really weird watching this episode. And I knew this season would be weird after this. Because when they're just like, come poop with us. Yeah, poop in our toilets. Yeah, everybody's pooping here. I was like, wow, this is really going poop heavy.
Felt very much like a Justin Roiland. Just like, just put a poop joke in. I don't care. Put a poop joke.
Basically. But of course, Rick lets Tony go, and then Rick devises this amazing plan for the toilet, goes to find him by delivering him laxatives at work, and Tony's dead.
Yeah, and Rick lost another chance at a friend.
Yeah. Well, I love that Tony's dad also knew that Rick was his friend. He's like, here's money for this, here's money for this, here's all this. It's like, it's so nice that you're his friend. He's not my friend!
He's not my friend, shut up!
So Rick experiences his own plan in the end. And
he sits on the toilet and he gets every version of himself laughing at himself, which I find heartbreaking in a way.
And it's hologram Rick, you know? It's not real, or is it real? That's offensive. That's offensive.
Yeah,
hologram Rick from episode 1.
Yeah.
So, Old Man in Seat, good episode.
Good episode.
Not the best episode, but good episode.
Yeah, I really thought it was solid. I liked a lot of what they were kind of touching on, metaphorically speaking. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
I'm going to download Love Finders right now.
Yeah, do it.
Let's do it.
Get some Love Finders.
Let's do it. That's our show, guys. Where can we find you, Vito?
You can find me at VScuddy anywhere on Twitter and Instagram.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Twitter at Stephen Lemieux.
That's it.
And we'll see you guys next time. Again, this was not the episode, in case you haven't realized by now. See you then.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.